Good evening, everyone. Episode 40.
It's kind of a big one.
It is. No Limits, Mike and Stace. Coming at you live in the basement. Actually in a game room. Running off of a generator.
Powerless.
For
day 4. Is this 5?
Well, it is now Saturday evening.
Yeah.
We lost power on Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
So
4 days.
Yeah, it's
4 days.
Oof.
It's been a challenge.
It has. Thankfully, Wednesday morning, went 8 a.m. We'll tell you about the storm in a minute, but 8 a.m. went out to, there's a Harbor Freight like 10 minutes from here, stood in line. They didn't even have power. Kudos to Harbor Freight there. I gotta, say this. They had no power whatsoever. They went old school, writing everybody up, with the, if you paid by a credit card, they didn't have the swiper hickey, but they had the carbon copy, paper that you had to write. They wrote down your credit card number and all of that and let you go, let you take your generator. So kudos to them, for that, because not a lot of places would do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got the generator, got home, been running it ever since. We had to replace most of the stuff in the fridge, but we kept everything else, and now it's just been extension cord here, extension cord there.
Yeah.
Run this, unplug that, run this, for days.
Yeah.
At night we run the refrigerator and the portable air conditioner in the bedroom.
Because it's humid.
Mm-hmm. And then during the day, usually the freezer, the fridge, and the Wi-Fi and my laptop so I can work.
Yep.
So that's been our routine. Went to the laundromat for the first time, non-traveling.
Right.
Because we always hit the laundromat when we travel, but this is the first time I hit the laundromat in I don't know how long. I can't remember last time I went to a laundromat.
Yeah.
So, but the storm, oh my gosh. We watched it come in and it was quick.
Fast and furious.
Like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
From start to finish was like 15 minutes.
I mean, the wind was literally blowing sideways.
They had straight winds. So, your hurricane or tornado winds, are circular. These were not. These are straight line winds, I think is what they were calling them. So straight line winds. And they say that they can be worse than a tornado. And from what we've seen, yeah. If you walk up our street, numerous very large trees down, some on houses, some not. This one woman's shed, she had a plastic shed and it was full of stuff. It blew over her fence.
Yeah. Like a port almost.
Yep. Into the yard and then further down into the street. Yeah. It's nuts.
It's wild.
And then there's some areas like luckily we had no damage. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of trees in the back, and we had zero damage. But we've been without power now since Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
So.
And we have no idea when we're going to get back.
Yeah, they said 5 to 7 days.
Which I honestly thought when they said that, I'm like, well, they're just saying that. Like, we've never been without power for that long, ever.
There's still 45,000
but yet here we are.
People without power.
Yeah.
In our county. So this was a bad one. Called in help from, some neighboring states. People come in to help. But, yeah, I don't know. It definitely was a bad one. So, but that's, we're surviving.
Yeah.
We got our cold beer still
Yep.
up in the fridge, so we're good. As long as we have our cold drinks. Sick of eating oatmeal for breakfast, though.
Yeah, true.
Luckily, we have gas stove and a gas hot water tank. So able to still take hot showers.
Yeah.
Using a lighter, we're able to light the stove and cook. So when we eat at home, if it's nice enough to grill out, we do that. But if it's not, we have to figure out what to cook on the stovetop, which that's tending to be difficult.
Yeah, it's very challenging, and we're definitely not eating. You can't eat healthy.
Yeah.
Like, so, it's very difficult.
For breakfast, we heat up the water in tea kettle and have oatmeal.
Even though you let it sit for a few minutes, it's still a little crunchy.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
No. Like, I miss my microwave.
Yep.
So, like all the things that we take for granted,
mm-hmm.
Definitely won't be taking them for granted moving forward.
But, so.
It's a challenge still. Like, I still have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I got sent home. Was it Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Because we didn't have power at my work, so stayed for a little bit. Really not much you can do without computer or internet. So got sent home, but then luckily went in Thursday morning and we had power back. So at least I have power at work.
Not according to the Duquesne Light outage map, you didn't.
Well, according to that, we did not. But then I get there and I was like, hey, now I see lights on. So of course I got a bag full of chargers and all my things, all the things.
I haven't been in air conditioning since Tuesday.
Oh my God. No. Luckily, it hasn't been scorching.
No, it hasn't. It's a little humid.
Yeah, the humidity. Yeah.
So that's.
It's hard to get it out. Once we start running the air conditioner in the evening, it takes a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. But,
yeah.
Yeah, it's we're managing. We're living. Hope only a couple more days.
Yeah.
They said by Tuesday night, everyone will have power back. So
just a couple more. We're almost there.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost there, and hopefully it doesn't, because that's just saying that will be everybody. So hopefully, maybe tomorrow.
I'm figuring Monday.
It'll be a real nice surprise when it kicks back on.
It will be.
Real nice. May even cry a little bit. Celebratory tears.
We went to a laundromat this evening. Haven't done that, and aside from traveling.
Right.
I didn't already say that.
Yeah.
Did I?
You did.
Oh.
You said that.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I think I haven't been. It's probably been, I want to say probably 9 or 10 years.
I'm getting old. I forget the things I already said.
Well, welcome to my world. I apparently repeat. Like, I'll just be sitting here having a whole conversation, repeat something. Well, I said that already. Well, sorry. You have to hear it again.
But so that's what's been happening since Tuesday for us. So with that being said, we haven't been able to concentrate too much on our rebrand. We know what we're going to call our rebranded podcast.
Yeah. So
we realized that there's a lot of No Limits podcasts out there. So it's difficult for some people to find us by searching, No Limits Mike and Stace. So we actually started doing searches, thinking about things that we love and doing searches to see if those were actual podcast names. And everybody that listens to us knows that we ride And there you go.
Yep.
We ride.
Yep.
We ride with Mike and Stace. So that's what we're going to rebrand the podcast as. So eventually we'll get around to it once we get power back and life back to normal.
Right. We can put a little bit more time into it.
So, but
that's exciting. It's exciting.
It is. It'll be good. It'll be good.
And we do talk a lot about where we ride, and then we talk about the destination and the things that we do and whatnot. I think it's very fitting.
I agree. So.
And it's different. So.
Yes. So that'll be in the next. We were hoping to have it, by the next episode, not this episode, the next episode. But who knows if that's going to happen? Just because running extension cords all over the place. Yeah. My phone hasn't been up to 100% charge in I don't know how long.
Well, thanks to my work, mine has.
Nah.
I sat there and it was at like 90 something, and I'm like, no, you're going all the way. It's 100% or nothing for you today. Special powered treatment.
So with our power outage situation, and it was so widespread that there was in Allegheny County, it was over 200,000 people without power. So it was very widespread, but it was also, people down the street could have power, but then, people up here didn't. Downtown, schools were closed downtown because they didn't have power. So it affected, not just, communities, it affected the city as well. So if anybody, works in any type of office environment, I'm sure at some point in time you had to do the wonderful
emergency preparedness.
Ours is called business resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same damn thing. But it's fucking useless.
100% it's useless. This was an emergency.
Yeah.
And our emergency preparedness plan was not activated. Nobody knew what to do. You know why? Because when they have what are those called? Round tables?
Yep.
Tabletop, whatever they're called. Because when they have those, I feel like common sense goes down the shitter. They're preparing for things that are never going to happen here. Right? Like, I think the one was, do you remember after that train derailed? It's been a few years. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's only been a couple years at this point, but in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some trains that run throughout Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of the round tables that they did was in the event of a train derailment. What? How in the actual fuck does that even pertain to most people?
Well, you don't have any trains that run by you.
No. No.
Like none at all.
No. But that was apparently because it is. I guess
the closest would be down in Oakmont, and that's yeah. So,
but regardless, the thing of it is, that was one. There have been a couple. I can't remember what the other one was, but that was one. But none of them have been on like a power outage, or if everybody snowed in, or like an ice storm. Things that actually happen here. And the thing of it is that I feel like so you should have, obviously there's a phone tree, whatnot, when things like this happen and you activate the emergency preparedness plan. You need to be prepared. So, in the event that there's no power in your building for days, there should be a plan for that. Not if there's a fucking train derailment. What in the world?
We actually have one for loss of power.
Well, was your emergency preparedness plan activated?
Well, ours for loss of power is you go home and you work from home. Up until I had the generator, guess what I couldn't do?
Work. Right.
Work from home.
Right.
So
yeah.
if I didn't have a generator, I wouldn't be able to work.
And I also think that there needs to be, and there very well may be, an emergency preparedness plan for not us individuals, but for like the power company.
Oh, jeez.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, shit, this is an emergency. This is an emergency. And you know what really gets me? Who takes precedence? Now, there are common sense people that are going to take precedence. Hospitals. Right? Nursing homes. Senior communities. Things of that nature. That is going to take precedence. 100%. And as it should.
Yeah.
But then, once all of those folks are taken care of, how do you pick and choose who's on the top priority? How do you pick and choose who you start with and who's more important than someone else? We're all paying a crap ton of money.
Yeah. I think, and I think this is actually the opposite of what they've been doing. They've been fixing the substations first that have been damaged.
Sure.
So they fix a substation, and then down the line, there's a jolt because there's a damaged transformer. It's not fully blown; it's just damaged, and then it blows.
Mm-hmm.
What I think they need to do is they need to fix all the down lines first.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a hazard.
Yeah, because as soon as you fire up that substation, then that down line is not live.
Well, you know what's happening too is that some people, and a lot of people, like an hour away. So where I used to live, where I grew up, a lot of those people had lost power as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them got it back, but then it's like as soon as they got it back within the hour, they lost it again.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it comes down to, it's almost like, because this is a little bit unprecedented, they're unsure how to deal with it. Well, you know goddamn well that every single company has an emergency preparedness coordinator. Well, what's yours been doing? Come on now. And to be honest with you, it's common sense.
Yeah.
It's common freaking sense.
I think it is, but like I said, I think, the way I would handle it is the opposite of how, they're handling it. But.
Well, that makes sense to me.
I don't know. And there are people, that one guy, he went to move. It looked like a dead wire away from his truck so he could go, I think he said go home. And he got electrocuted.
Well,
caught on fire. People couldn't even help him. They had to stand there
and literally watch him pass away like they watched him die. What a tragedy.
Yeah, there was anything they could do.
But to be honest with you, aren't we all taught? Like if you see a wire, you have to treat it as if it's live.
Yeah.
You don't touch shit.
No. That's a lot of voltage.
I mean, maybe he wasn't even, but I mean, we all should be taught that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it would be like common sense. If it's down, you don't. And the storm didn't it happen that day? Didn't it happen on Tuesday, the day that the storm came?
I believe so. So yeah.
And what does a power line look like that doesn't have juice? Because it wasn't like on TV, sparking and zzz. I don't think that's a thing. Like, I don't think it does that actually in real life. What the frick? So unfortunately, he did pass away, so.
Well, the power line that's, we believe is affecting us, there's juice going to it because people before it on the line have
and it's
power.
Been down for days. It's been down since the storm because I pass it to and from work. And they didn't even have it blocked off until Friday morning. So, I mean, you have to treat them all as they're alive. Mm-hmm. It's not just like you may get a little zit and your hair's going to go. I mean, you'll fucking die, man.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not really worth taking that chance.
I feel bad for the
God rest his soul.
The lines people. They've been busting their asses.
Yeah, they have. I read that article. Remember, you and I were talking about it earlier. That some of them are just sleeping in their cars or in their trucks, and they're just working around the clock, just trying to get everybody handled. So we appreciate you. If anyone is listening that does that, we appreciate you. Mm-hmm. And if you know someone that please make sure to let them know that they are appreciated.
Yeah, all of our frustration, is not directed towards the people actually out there doing the work, fixing the stuff.
No, it's the fucks that sit behind the desk that collect a nice big fat paycheck to do nothing.
Yeah, and you were reading me an article about how Pennsylvania's grid was unprepared, and Duquesne Light and West Bend Power were unprepared.
Yeah, this has been, I guess, for like the past 3 years.
Yeah, because they failed some.
Yeah, something I can't remember. I should have screenshotted it, but I.
It's basically an audit. Of their performance.
Like
and they failed it.
But yet, our electric bill sure as hell went up.
Oh yeah.
It quadrupled, really. Mm-hmm. Well, where the fuck's that money going?
Somebody's getting rich.
You ain't kidding. As per everything else. Mm-hmm. The money goes up. We don't see any difference, but it's lying in someone's pocket. How about you allocate such? You're still going to take that money regardless. How about we allocate it to where it's supposed to go, right? Why don't we get somebody in here, like, to assess the situation and redo it? Something needs redone.
Well, before all this started coming out, the very first thing, that I said to you was, this was, yes, it was caused by the storm, but the after effects of it were caused by lack of upkeep.
Yeah.
We see that with all parts of infrastructure.
Well, that's like look at our bridges.
Yep. Exactly.
City of
our
bridges.
Roads, our bridges.
We get taxed on taxed on taxed and taxed on the taxes, right? For what? Our gas price is so freaking high. But yet our roads are so shitty, and we travel. And we see that this is not the norm. Some states have shitty roads also, but I would say PA, we really rank.
Oh, yeah.
And when we redo them, you put a Band-Aid on it. You're putting lipstick on a pig, man. Like, you're not fixing this shit. Yeah. Where were we at? Was that Maine?
Yes.
And they took that shit down to the dirt.
Yep.
We were on one lane, and the other lane was literally down to the dirt.
And sometimes we were even riding on dirt.
And they can't even say, like, that it's not because of weather, because they have worse weather than we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they take it down the dirt and then they redo it. Here in PA, like, prime example, our street. It's been redone twice in 6 years.
Yeah.
So they come in, they mill a couple inches off of it, and then they just repave it. Well, there's something going on because there's water coming up. So I'm assuming there's some underground springs through here. And because you can see where all of a sudden you have these water spots on the fucking road. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't repair that. So guess what? As soon as it gets cold and that freezes, boom, then you have freaking potholes where they're at. So the last time they did it, they tried to repair some of those, and they did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
But that's very typical of Pennsylvania. Just mill it down, pave over it, and boom, there you go. Yeah, it's good for 6 months.
Right.
But after 6 months, it turns into shit again. You're exactly right. It's just constant Band-Aids.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Yes, I imagine that it does cost a hell of a lot more to literally go all the way down to dirt and start from scratch. But does it?
In the long run?
I don't think it does.
It doesn't.
But someone's lining their pockets with that frickin' money, right? So however much money is getting put in this budget, someone's skimming the shit. And then, whatever's the pennies that are left is what actually gets put to use on our frickin' roads. But believe you me, we do something like our cars have to be road ready. And it's expensive for us to make sure that, our tires are good and we're aligned and where they charge us out the butt for that. But yet the roads some of them aren't drive worthy. What the hell is that? Sickening. Do better, PA. In fact, they need to really just do better in general. Let's make a list.
And some of the cars have issues with inspection because of the fucking roads.
Yeah. Do you remember?
It's like, come on.
This was because this winter was kind of brutal. Like we really did have the colder temperatures, the snow. Like it was typical. What I would consider a PA weather winter from like when we were little, right? Mm-hmm. So pretty typical from before. But on that one road that we were on, there were so many freaking potholes. What did we see? And they were craters. Almost Pittsburgh Mills worthy. Yeah. They were like, you could fill that sumbitch up, put a floaty in there and have a party. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There were like 2 or 3 cars pulled over on the side of the road with flat tires. Yep. I mean, come. And that was a road that you go pretty fast on. Mm-hmm. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Mm.
And
it's infuriating, to be honest.
And now, they're all freaking out about the bridges because the vast majority of the bridges are in poor condition. That's because you didn't fucking maintain them.
And again.
Maintenance.
And again.
Proper maintenance. Just like we talked about the fucking aircraft. Proper fucking maintenance.
You got shit falling from the sky. You got bridges crumbling.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that bridge a couple years ago that just collapsed.
Right. Should we be considering building an ark?
Maybe.
Especially after that storm. They came rolled on in. I have a feeling that God is up there like, I have had enough. And this is the year that I show you people.
It's nuts. I mean, I don't... There just seems to be a lack of maintenance, and we'll just call it maintenance, upkeep maintenance, all everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's affecting everything. It's affecting our power grid. It's affecting all of our infrastructure, roads, bridges.
Just like a trickle effect.
Yeah. And
it's because the frickin' money isn't allocated to where it should be.
Right. And then, we're already paying, like you said, we're paying, taxes. And guess what? They don't have the money to fix everything that they've let go because they didn't do proper maintenance on it. So now they have to replace.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're exactly right.
And then who has to pay for the replacement?
We do.
We do.
Meanwhile, we've already been paying for the supposed upkeep. Why is it our responsibility?
Right.
I'm all for paying our fair share. I'm all for, that's just how life is, right? But I mean, when you don't put it where it's supposed to go and you're not doing what you're supposed to do with it and, somebody's really living high on the horse, it's just not right. It's really ridiculous.
I remember a few years ago they were trying to make one of the bridges on 79 a toll.
Oh, for God's sakes.
And it's like, what? So you can't manage the money and the taxes that we pay properly. So you're going to get more by trying to make a toll bridge.
And you want to know what would happen with that?
Well,
they wouldn't manage that properly. Somebody else would be like, oh, damn, here's more income.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah,
And this goes back,
Isn't there somebody that manages this shit?
Yes.
Or
there's auditors,
is it kind of like, here's a little bit for you if you just turn the other cheek. You don't see this.
Anytime
so annoying.
You get a new auditor general in, or any new initiative about doing audits and anything like that, you hear a lot about it for the first couple of months. And then you don't hear anything else again. Because it only takes, apparently, a couple of months before you get bought. I mean, that's what it seems like.
Right. That's exactly what it seems like.
And that's that.
Because if that wasn't the case, somebody definitely would have been like, wait a minute. We have this much, because it's really just applied mathematics that we all learned in high school. Addition and subtraction. This is the frickin' budget. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how much we have coming in. I mean, and don't tell me that they don't have enough coming in from all of our goddamn taxes. Because they do.
Well, that's the thing. They do. But now, because it's been mismanaged for so many years, like how do you recover from that? Look at
well, they need a process improvement.
They need something. I mean, Pittsburgh itself, they were looking. They've been running off of using COVID funds, COVID relief funds.
It's
for
been
years.
5 years.
Yeah, but they've been using those relief funds
and where
to
the hell's that
balance
money
their
coming
budget.
from?
So you've been using that money to balance your budget, knowing that it's going to end, and you did nothing about it.
And again,
and then now all of a sudden, they wanted to up the taxes. I think it was like 50% or something. It was something astronomical.
So, but they were making budget prior to the Rome. Okay. So even if they were maybe a hair over or whatnot, they were pretty close because we didn't hear anything about it prior. And then the Rome rolls in. And then life as we actually knew it has since been changed and will forever be changed moving forward. But a lot of these places and whatnot that did get these ruin funds, this was money you weren't getting before. Save it for a rainy day. Like, where was that going, and what did they add that is now being spent on?
Yep,
Maybe that's the money that they should have used to fix our bridges, to fix our roads. And I'll tell you what, for those 3 years that most people weren't driving on those roads, that would have been the time to completely redo everything.
Well, I think their mentality was, okay, well, people aren't driving on them. We don't have to worry about it right now.
Well, they were still getting bad, believe me, because I was still driving.
I know, but they was like, well, since people are driving on them, we'll put the money elsewhere.
Well, that's just asinine.
It's the same principle. So, when COVID happened, most people got sent home. And then people got used to, not paying to park, not paying for daycare. And they started using that money elsewhere.
Right.
So now they don't want to go back in the office. And it's not because they can do their job just as well as home. It's because they've allocated the money that they would be...
the money, and then they complain about the time. Well, my travel time, my commute. Okay, so you had that commute initially when you went for your interview, when you got that job, and you traveled to it for how many years prior to Roan, and then this happens, right? Like, none of us knew that was actually going to happen, and it affected the majority of people. Some of us it did not affect. I still went into work every single day. But, for most people, and then they complain like, well, I don't want to go to the office 2 days a week. I didn't get to work from home at all. You had to work in the office prior to COVID, and now you're going to cry. Well, that's a whole nother topic. I got off topic.
Yeah.
But yes, so it did change things. But
it just goes to show you that
the wrong people are in charge.
It's very large scale. The way that it works, it's.
Well, the wrong people are in charge because, that would have been the time to literally redo everything. Because you don't have people on the roads. You have this extra COVID money that you didn't even expect that you were going to get, right? That wasn't something that you knew. Take that money, put new roads in, take that money, fix your power grid.
And Pittsburgh's been mismanaged. They filed bankruptcy before. And I know your next question is, how does the city file bankruptcy? They did. I don't know how all that works, but they did. It was years ago, but they've been mismanaged a lot.
Yeah.
And the jokers that they keep voting in there, I'm like, well, here you go. This is why.
Yeah.
This is why.
Well, and like you said, even if they get somebody in there that's well-meaning and does really feel like, look, I'm going to get in here, I'm going to change things, I'm going to make it better. But like you said, they do get in there and then it's like, hey now.
Well, here's the problem.
They get bought, sell their souls, so to speak, and then they don't really care anymore. Because it's like, well, that's fixing my bottom line, so I could care less about what my actual end goal was. Somebody else's problem now.
The problem is, to actually fix it, you're going to have to raise taxes. But nobody's going to run on a platform that says, you elect me in, I'm going to raise your taxes by 15%. Because I need to balance the budget and get us back on track. And nobody's going to vote that person in. But that's probably what needs to happen. Because it's been mismanaged for so long that the only way you're going to recover from it is you need, additional money coming in, but it does have to be managed properly.
Mm-hmm.
But and there has to be more of it now because it's been a shit show for so long.
Sure.
But like I said, but nobody's going to run on that platform because that person's not going to get voted in. The person is going to get voted in that's, say, oh, I'm not going to raise taxes. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that.
Right.
I can't compose a sentence, but I'm going to give you something. Jeez.
I could think of, like, a couple people came to mind as soon as you said that. I'm going to wear sweatpants or was it like gym shorts or something he wore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marigini, you can't understand half the shit he says.
No.
Ghetto Gainy. I mean, come on now. But, so.
Well, it's crooked and
it is.
Apparently it's always going to be that way. And we have to pay for it. That's really the bottom freaking line.
Yeah.
And like you said, the thing of it is you got those workers out there busting their asses to try to get us all back online.
And there's people being ignorant to them.
Yeah, well, those people.
What the fuck, man?
Those people need put in their place because
they're out there busting their ass. They're doing the job where they're told to do it.
Yeah. Right.
They can't say, well, I want to go.
I'm just going to roll up and start working here.
Yeah. Unless they live here, they don't even know.
Yeah, they have to be told where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You
always have people that are freaking a-holes about stuff.
I understand you're frustrated. We're frustrated.
We're all frustrated. You know what I mean? But it could always be worse.
Yeah.
This is manageable. And it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. And when we do get our power back, for me, personally, is going to make me appreciate it that much more. And I will appreciate it for a very long time. But do you know what I mean? So, It could always be, no matter how crappy the situation is, how bad it could always be worse. So, it is what it is. Shit happens. And it's 2025. So if you think that this is the end of it, hails to the no. We are going to come up with a list and we're going to do a year in review. I'm going to do a little bit of homework on it. And what I should have started doing at the beginning of 2025 is writing things down, right? Because just kind of like a super quick recap of what you and I talked about earlier. We had the fires in California, and I believe that's what started it. 2025. So we had the fires in California. What happened after that? I can't because it's only April. So it's May now. It's May.
Yep, it's May now.
Just began May. We had that. We've had multiple aircraft falling from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Was that North Carolina or South Carolina? That storm. Those people are probably still digging out. Here we are.
That was last year.
No, that was last year. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's say even within a 6-month period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That aircraft falling from the sky, the storm, our mini blackout, if you will, and it's only May.
It's only May.
This is level 5 of freaking Jumanji. So yeah, but it is what it is, and we'll take it as it comes because
that's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's the only thing you can do.
And you appreciate there's always going to be downs, there's always going to be ups. And in the ups, you appreciate them that much more.
Exactly. So.
Anywho, we got off topic. We kind of, as per usual, kind of talked about a multitude of things.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
For sure.
So I think we'll go ahead and end it on that then.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we'll work on the rebranding of the podcast as soon as we get power back. So
Yeah.
within the next couple of weeks, I'll handle that. New logo, new name, all that good stuff.
And we're going to change it on Facebook as well. So
Yes.
it'll still be, it's still going to be us. It's just going to be our new name, our new logo.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, with that, Mike Stace, sign off.
Have a good week, everybody. Bye.